What is up, gang? Degenerous DeFi here, bringing you some DeFi in detail. Today, a big old WTF. What's a tomb fork? Before we get into it, you know the drill. None of this is financial advice. This is all education and entertainment. Your money is your responsibility, so do your own research. Okay, so tomb forks are all over the place. If you don't know what they are, or you're just hearing about them and don't fully understand all the mechanics, this video is for you. Tomb Finance was the first of this structure, if you will. It was on the Phantom blockchain, and it was a token built around a token algorithmically pegged to the price of one Phantom. So in this presentation, you'll hear me refer to the algo token. That's because, all tomb forks have their own version of this token. So I will just refer to it as the algo token, the token that is algorithmically pegged to another. So tomb forks and tomb finance all use a 3-token system. In the case of tomb, those tokens were tomb, the algo token, tomb share or T share, and tomb bond or T bond. And if you didn't know, a fork is just a copy or an imitation. Okay, so an algorithmic peg, really all that means is a bunch of math that is tying, if you will, the value of one asset to another. That second asset being what we call the peg. Okay, so in crypto in general, you'll hear this term epoch used quite often, and that is just a term to reference a period of time, and that period of time will be different depending on which project you are dealing with, but just keep that in mind. So each epoch, the algorithm is going to act to influence the price of the algo token towards the price of the peg. So this algorithmically pegged token has a set of instructions that are going to be executed upon in order to pressure its price towards the price of its peg. The algorithm wants the algo token to be valued equal or as close to the peg as possible. Supply mechanics of this algorithm are pretty simple. It's this here. If the algo token's value is greater than the value of the peg, the algorithm is going to increase the supply of the algo token. So if you understand basic supply-demand economics, we're increasing the supply, watering down the supply, we're putting downward pressure on the price of that asset. If the algo token is less than the price of the peg, then we're going to decrease the supply. We're going to create scarcity and put upward pressure on the price of the algo token. So Genesis. All of these tomb forks begin with an effective token supply of 0. That means there is not just a pot of these tokens sitting out there for you to go scoop some out of. Genesis pools are required to mint these new tokens into circulation. So basically, users are going to stake a separate asset into a Genesis pool in order to earn newly minted algo tokens. So these Genesis pools generally first mint the algorithmic token, and then you also see Genesis pools that will earn share token as well. And these Genesis pools really only run for a limited time in order to jumpstart the protocol. The Genesis pools are not intended to run indefinitely. So farming, this you'll just hear used in reference to providing a liquidity pair in one of these tomb forks in exchange for earning a reward that is paid in share token. So the liquidity pair generally is the algorithmic token and the peg token in an LP. For example, in the case of tomb finance, that would be a tomb token and a phantom token paired together to provide the liquidity, or a tomb share token paired with a phantom token paired together to provide liquidity. And you earn rewards on that liquidity in share token. So this staking of the algo token provides stability to the protocol, and it also offers a utility of the algo token, which is an ability to earn share. Share token being like a share you may be familiar with on the stock exchange, value in that project or the protocol itself. Share token staking. So you will see a variety of different names used for this depending on the project that you are looking at. But all tomb forks essentially have what I'll refer to here as a boardroom, which is where users are able to stake their share tokens in exchange for a percentage of the tokens minted in each expansion epoch. Staking these share tokens again offers some stability to the protocol, and it's also a means of generating passive income. So long as the protocol remains in expansion, every user staking share tokens to the boardroom is going to earn a percentage of that expansion. The regulations are where you can see the results of each epoch and the algorithm's actions that were taken. So here's a term that I've thrown on here to be familiar with, and it's TWAP, TWAP, as you may hear it said, and that stands for the time-weighted average price. So this is how the algorithm is determining whether the algo token is above or under the price of the peg. It's not a spot price incident that it is looking at, but rather an average over the duration of the epoch. So it's looking at the price averaged over that period of time, and that is how it's coming up with the time-weighted average price. And that is what matters when it comes to whether an epoch is in expansion or contraction. And as you see there, in expansion, the protocol will mint more algo tokens. It will increase the supply. Or in contraction, it will activate the bond token. I have another video on this mechanic specifically, the algorithm, the peg and U. Essentially what you need to know here is in contraction, the boardroom is not printing any more algo tokens because we are under peg. So now the algorithm wants to pressure the price of the algo token up. And to do that, we are going to attempt to decrease the supply. Let's keep that in mind. Contraction, we want to decrease the supply. Expansion, we're increasing the supply. And last note there, so the expansion rates generally are going to be detailed in the protocol's documentation as far as the percent of expansion in expansion epochs over time. So here we go, the tomb fork loop strategy, and this is from the Genesis pools. So from the very beginning, the launch of a protocol, this is a strategy that one might use when participating in a tomb fork. So first off, like we've mentioned at the top, you would stake an asset into the Genesis pool in order to farm or earn the algo token. You would then take that algo token and provide a liquidity pair in order to earn share token. You would then take that earned share token and stake it into the boardroom, which will earn you more algo token in each expansion epoch. You could then take that algo token and redeposit it into the liquidity pair to earn more share token. You would take that earned share token again and stake it into the boardroom to earn more algo token. And this just repeats. It's a self-feeding loop there, and fairly straightforward. If you understood all the steps we've talked about previously, then this should make sense to you here. Alternatively, someone who is not in at the beginning, at the launch of a protocol, and is coming in post Genesis pools, that is after Genesis pools are no longer active, this is a strategy a person in that instance may use. Again, do your own research. I'm going to talk about all the problems with this though. So you could start by either purchasing the algo token and providing a liquidity pair to earn share token, or purchasing the share token on an exchange in order to stake into the boardroom. Now, this is an incredibly risky, volatile play because you have to consider the price of that algo token versus its peg. And I have a visual for you on that coming up here later. But let's say our algo token is pegged to the price of another token whose value is $1, but we buy it at $20 a piece. Well, we know, because it's a tomb fork, that the algorithm is going to pressure this token's price down towards $1. So if I pay $20 for it, with the knowledge that the algorithm is pressuring the price of this down, I should expect to lose money. Buying an overpegged algo token is an incredibly risky play. All right, that's out there. Now let's keep going. So you've either provided liquidity to farm share token, or you've purchased share token to stake into the boardroom, which will earn you more algo token, which now the steps are the same as before. We redeposit into an LP pair, earn more share token, rinse, repeat. Now, some of the risks versus reward here. So the early days of tomb forks is incredibly volatile. Okay, if you take a look at this chart on the right, this is from a tomb fork, and as you see, a lot of crazy action there during Genesis, and then boom, it just falls from the sky down towards its peg price. And this is a pretty standard visual of what these things look like early on. So the Genesis pools are very lucrative opportunity for day traders. They'll, take these quick profits. As you see, if you are in a Genesis pool where it's essentially printing you new tokens just for providing, staking up your tokens. If it shoots up 10, 20 times, this is a great opportunity for day traders to sell, sell, sell. And that's why you will see these crazy roller coasters, ups and downs, and eventually just an absolute crash down to the price of the peg. Now, I say crash, but we all know it's coming. If you understand the structure of a tomb fork and its mechanics, then you know that is ultimately where it's going. So it shouldn't be a surprise. Now, you will also see absolutely insane APYs in the early days of these tomb forks, and it's to attract investors. But you have to pay close attention to the tokenomics, like I discussed earlier, to the price of that algo token versus the peg and the market activity. These are all things that you need to take into account before you make any decisions about what you're going to do with your money here. And there it is again, like I said, buying an overpegged algo token is super, super dangerous. So let's say maybe you bought in on this project. Let's say you thought this was a juicy looking dip and you bought a whole bunch of algo tokens there, and you sat and just tried to farm it because you were getting some crazy, APR 100% a day, something like that, and you held it for a day or two, and boom, it just absolutely crashed. Well, you lost a big old chunk of change. Sorry for you, but those familiar with tomb forks knew that was coming. And here's another example of that. So I did a quick little spreadsheet here, and this is just an example tracking a $100 investment by the hour, modeled after an algo token pegged to something valued at $1. I built in 10% depreciation to the algo token per hour, which is not unusual, but paying out a 100% daily APR, which is absolutely crazy. This would make a lot of folks want to just ape in, blindly throw their money at this. But if you look here, that first number I've circled, at the 19th hour, we've already lost 50% of our investment, and that is taking into account that 100% daily APR rewards. And then by the time we're at the 44th, maybe between the 44th and 45th hour, our algo token finally actually reaches around the peg price, and 58% of the investment is lost by that point. So this is kind of a sample of what could happen to someone who gets in kind of post launch on one of these tomb forks. And as you see there in my last note, this model here would have had to maintain a daily APR of 238% just to break even by the time the token, the algo token reached the price of peg down there in 45 hours. And like I said, folks, this is not out of the question. This has happened to people before. I have seen it. I've heard about it. And, you know, if you just go on your own and pull up some charts of some other tomb forks, you will see they're all going to look very similar to that. They're going to have some crazy high spikes, 10, 20, 100 times over peg, and then eventually they're all going to come crashing down. That is just the nature of the beast. That is what they are designed to do. They are designed to reach peg price or close to it. So I hope this helped, guys. If you got any questions or suggestions, please throw them down below, guys, and I will catch you next time.